the first season of the Sunday SITREP.
It's not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood.
All right, everybody, welcome to the 12th episode of the Sunday SITREP, the Armed Forces Fishing League's official podcast. I don't know if the audio was playing there for the intro. Did you hear it, Nick?
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh, for some reason I did not hear it on my end. I was a little nervous it was messing up there on me. Well, okay, well that's good. Well, yeah, everybody, welcome to the 12th episode. We're going to talk about AFFL Virginia.
Georgia.
Today. Georgia. Goodness, my mind's all over the place today. I have Virginia's results right in front of me. That messed that up. We're talking about AFFL Georgia today. We're going to talk with their director, Mr. Philip Hunt. We're going to dive pretty deep into his inaugural event he just had yesterday on Lake Hartwell on the Georgia side. And then we're going to dive in pretty good about his win at the Guardian Classic. I think it's pretty awesome that our one of our directors was up there and won that derby. That was pretty awesome. And we'll try to, dive in pretty deep on the Guardian Classic and kind of get his perspective in his first year fishing it as a veteran and seeing, his full take on that event and whatnot. But yeah, Nick, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. So we are less than 3 weeks away from the national championship. I am absolutely stoked about that. What about you?
I can't wait. Yeah, it's I can't believe it's already approaching that quick.
I know. It's so crazy. I feel so underprepared. I've been so busy and trying to do my research. I haven't done the research I said I was going to do, the map study I was going to do. I mean, I've been doing it here and there, you know what I mean? But I have not been fully invested in it like I wanted to, but it is what it is. Life happens. Things come down the road. You got to deal with them and move on. But yeah, anyway, so that's coming up. That's going to be fun. I'm excited to meet everybody, dude. I really am. I think that's what I care about the most. Like, yeah, I feel a little behind on the fishing prep, but honestly, that's not what it's all about to me anyway. So it is what it is there.
Yeah.
It's about meeting these guys. Just like
I know I've said it a million times, but I can't wait to just get down there and meet everybody that fishes with us.
Right. It's going to be an absolute blast. But before we dive too deep into the show, we got a few people already signed up and in here right now. So make sure y'all are doing the normal weekly giveaway things. Like, share, comment, hashtag #TheSitRep, and make sure y'all are jumping over to the YouTube and giving us a subscription there. That way you can watch us there if you decide to instead of Facebook. Man, Nick, this weekend we had 2 tournaments, and I'm really happy with both of them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm really. I think we were pretty blessed this weekend as an AFFL whole conglomerate. I mean, Virginia had theirs on Lake Anna, and they had 25 boats. That's the biggest boat number we've drawn so far out of all the AFFL events. I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm really happy after talking with Dave, and he told me only 4 of those boats were AFFL guys, which I think is awesome because that's
incredible.
That's a lot of teams. Right, you got 21 teams that just seen the AFFL for the first time, seen a smooth ran event, seen good payouts, had a good time. From what I can tell, looking at the results, everyone caught fish for the most part. It was just a good day, all in all. And I'm really happy with that. I'm really, really happy with that. So congratulations to the winner of that. Took home $1,600, and they paid 5 places with 20.42 pounds, Mr. Clayton Gatewood and Jeff Parrish. Coming in close behind him was Terry and Dean Perrin with 17.92. I don't know the dollar sign on that, but congrats to them. And then Matt Clark and Jake Floyd rounded it up in 3rd place. So congrats to all those guys. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for supporting AFFL Virginia. I definitely definitely excited seeing how many boats they just got. I think next year they're definitely going to look pretty loaded. Dave definitely felt confident that he gained a few regulars for sure.
Virginia's cool. I feel like it's a good like midpoint between like northern fishing and southern fishing. Like I feel like that state. I haven't fished it, but just from like what I've heard and seen on maps and different results at different tournaments, like I feel like it has a good variety.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And you can fish, if across the state of Virginia, you can go to that deep stuff out in Smith Mountain Lake, and then you've got swamp and marsh and tidal rivers. You've got all of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about fishing South Carolina is the same thing, the diversity you have on these southeastern states for sure. Absolutely. But yeah, so we were going to go into Georgia's results. We're going to go into that here in a little bit with Philip. Let y'all hear it straight from the horse's mouth. But we did have an event that was supposed to happen this weekend that did not. Mr. Zach Myatt, the Louisiana director, had to postpone the next weekend due to all that hurricane weather coming through down there in Louisiana and South Texas or Eastern Texas. And hats off to him for making that decision. That's a tough decision to make for sure.
It is. Yeah.
And right on him, or good on him for being able to make that command decision, save his guys and move on. So hopefully he gets a good show in there. And I'm sure he will. Toledo Bend, they show up and show out. So
yeah,
for sure. Our Louisiana guys are kicking it pretty good down there, and we're appreciative of all of you.
Absolutely.
Well, you got anything else you want to dive into, Nick, before we pull in Philip?
I'll bring it up, and then we can bring him in, and then we'll talk about it.
Good deal. Yeah. All right, Mr. Philip Hunt, everybody. This is our Georgia director just coming at y'all. I know we kind of talked about it when we first brought him on with the organization, but here he is for all of y'all to see, and we're going to get to know him a little bit. What's going on, man?
Oh, another day. Drying the boat out, buddy.
I hear that. I heard the weather yesterday was not the best fishing conditions, to say the least.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
Did you take some water over the bow?
It came close a few times.
Yeah, that lake doesn't like heavy winds. There's some big open water down there that gets to moving.
No, especially where we put in at the southern end near the dam at Gum Branch with an northeast wind like it was yesterday. It just blows right in on the ramp and gets straight to the channel. So it makes it even worse. Yep.
You don't have a lot of choice. You got to be in it.
Yeah.
How far is that from where we launched?
So it was from Green Pond to there. It's a good probably 20 to 30 minute ride south of Green Pond.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a big clip. Like Nick, the places you and I fished on the third day, when we were the furthest we went, we were probably a quarter of the way there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's down there. Yeah, it's a pretty good clip. But it's a big lake, that's for sure. So, Philip, before we dive into, I know what you want to dive into there, Nick, but you want to do that first, or you want to get to know Philip a little bit first?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get this out of the way real quick.
Okay,
so sure. Philip had got us in touch with someone that he met, and what happened was we got a new rod sponsor on board for the league. So thank you, Philip, for that connection and getting us hooked up with these guys. So Pride Rods is the company that we're bringing on board. You can check out their website here, all made right here in the U.S. He's a Navy vet. He's all about what we're doing, and we're obviously all about what he's doing too. So they're all custom rods. Pretty incredible. I don't know if you have that picture.
Which one?
Handy.
The cranking rod one.
I don't have it right offhand. I meant to pull that up.
Let me see here. Can you? I don't know if you can see this on the. I don't know if it'll show it up on.
Let me pull us back up there. What is happening?
Does that show up on my screen?
I'm losing control. There we go. All right, now put it up there.
So that's a cranking rod. I wouldn't try that with one of your personal rods, but
Yeah,
pretty
it's
incredible what they can do.
Yeah, it's pretty wild
Yeah.
for sure.
And they can do everything like custom work. I mean, painting it to whatever you want. I think Robert said, well, I think me and you talked 14 karat gold inlaid rod that he has made right now. I mean,
That's
it
crazy.
can get crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So that's it's exciting. We got those guys on, and I'm glad they support what we do, and we definitely, like I said, we support what they're doing too. So
Always nice.
better known.
Yeah, it's honest. It's always nice to be ingrained with veteran organizations too. For sure.
Oh yeah, he's all about Robert's the one me and you talked to, Nick, who pretty much runs the day to day, and he's all about first responders. Like we talked for 2 or 3 hours that first night. You know, great guy, love him.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. We'll dive more into that on a future podcast, but just wanted to make that announcement. So everybody check them out, priderods.com.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, let's know that we got that out of the way and whatnot. Let's talk about you a little bit, Philo. So we'll start off like let's just get to know you from the rip, like none of us know you. Where are you from originally?
Well, originally from Cleveland, Georgia. If you know anything about Cabbage Patch Kids, that's where they originated from. That's what everybody knows. Or Helen, Georgia, right in there.
Mm-hmm.
So grew up there. Upon graduating high school, went straight active duty. Went to 3rd ID from 2002 to 2006. Came out of there. Went to the reserve for like 6 months. Went to the National Guard. Got out of there for medical 2010. And ever since then, bounced around a few jobs, but mainly been a deputy sheriff here in the state since 2010. Or, well, about 2007, I believe.
Awesome. So covering the bases. You got the military affiliation and the first responder affiliation. Yep. We love that. We love that. David is Virginia's talking crap here. But yep, David's in the same boat, the military affiliation and first responder affiliation. But yeah, so what about your fishing past, man? Like your history of fishing. Let's hear a lot about
how'd you get into it?
Yeah, where did it start?
Well, I mean, growing up, we had a creek. You know, we had farmland, so I fished a lot of the creeks. Never did bass fishing. Didn't do it in the military. So about 2020, I don't know, something just came over, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna go buy a boat." So I went and bought my first boat, the Express H17, and just dove straight into bass tournament fishing and just fishing, and eventually kind of branched out with the Fallen Outdoors and a few other organizations and said, hey, now I got a boat, I got rods, I don't have a partner all the time, I'm going to go fish. Y'all, put it out that I'll take y'all out fishing, and that's where it's went. I kind of went away from tournament fishing the last year when I switched departments based upon I was in the Oconee Bassmaster or Bass Club, and so their schedule didn't work on mine because every other weekend we're off, and their schedule was just off. So I got out of it for about a year and a half now, and then I slowly got back into it here recently.
Good deal. Good deal. But I mean, that's what it's all about. You still have a passion for it. I mean, for sure. We've talked.
I think it's great. I mean, seeing the veterans come out and go with me or whatever, or just going to the veteran benefit tournaments and stuff, like, and first responders, like, there's a need for first responders and stuff to get out and just like Bobby says, get out and have an outlet. And that's what I use it for now, mainly as an outlet.
Right. I think that's what a lot of us use it for.
Yeah.
We all got so many things going on, and so much things that we look back on that you need a place to let that stuff go and be out in nature for sure.
It's just nice. You can just shut everything off. It's just you out there.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's the best part of it.
Absolutely. It definitely it changes lives. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It definitely changes lives.
Do you remember your first tournament?
I do. It was, can't remember what I did on it. I probably did not get any fish, but it was a good tournament. pretty sure it was Lake Oconee with the Oconee Bass Club. And I mean, those guys, I love them. And Dale Harbor, who's actually going to join our league this year for Georgia, he's the president of it now. Ben Maldonado used to be the president, and he stepped down. But like those guys, like I love that club because you had your boater, you got to sign a co-angler, you'd fish your tournament, we would come in, and everybody would just sit around and talk, and be like, and they wouldn't lie to you. They'd be like, hey, I caught him here, I caught him there. And it just made everybody feel like it was a brotherhood like we are, to where, hey, if you didn't do good, here, this is what I did, and help everybody out and just make it a family kind of thing and a brotherhood. It was great.
Right. That's what it's all about. Iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you always, like, I fished a couple clubs, and it's just like that. I'm competitive, don't get me wrong, but I like to have fun at the same time.
Yeah.
There's some clubs that I have fished with where it's not enjoyable. You know, I like to come back and talk to people or talk a little bit in the morning or whatever, but it's nice when you find a club that you feel like you belong, you know. It's just like, I don't know, like you said, that brotherhood, which is what we're about too.
That's what was exciting yesterday. We came back in, we weighed ours, and I'd already talked to the high school guys earlier in the week, and Booger Hill Club was doing their tournament, and I walked back and I was talking to several of those guys who actually live close to where I live, or around us, and we were talking. They were like, man, this sounds awesome. Like, it's a great thing. Like, the state needed something like this. And, they were really excited about it. Just from their club people that I talked to were like, once they figured out what we were about, they were like, this is great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Yeah. A lot of people, I mean, I haven't met anybody so far that's not supportive. When people hear what we're doing, no matter what their affiliation is, they're like, yeah, that's awesome. What can we do? How can we get involved or whatever? It's been pretty awesome. The support we've been blessed with. That's a fact. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. So one thing I always ask everybody, I believe I have at least, and I like to ask somebody, if you had one technique right now, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the question or anywhere in the country, one technique to go catch a limit of fish, what are you doing?
This time of year, fluke.
Okay, that's Savannah chain, that herring guy. Yep,
the herring
Flukes
guy.
Yep. All the herring guys.
I feel like you can throw a fluke just about any time of the year too.
Anywhere. I agree with that.
I would agree.
So underrated. Such an underrated bait. The fluke, even if you're not working it the herring way, out there ripping it or whatever you want to do with it out there on the open water. I mean, if you're skipping it around docks and twitching it or however you want to work it, it's a very versatile bait.
You can throw it anywhere, different. I mean, it's just so versatile to throw in.
Absolutely. Yep. You can do what Dave said, throw it on a shaky head or, the ball head minnow and just
Carolina rig.
Yeah, Carolina rig, drop shot.
Drop shot.
A lot of us use the underspin now.
Underspin.
Fluke on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Do you do the herring deal? Just the weightless fluke out there over 20 feet of water, ripping it?
Yeah, I did that, and then yesterday I tried to do there's Jeff Nell, one of the local guys here, talked about it, is put a nail weight in the mid body or up towards the nose through the open belly. And I tried that to give it a little bit more weight and action to it. And it didn't work for me, but it works for him.
Yeah. There are a lot of tricks to the fluke on these herring lakes. I mean, it feels like everybody I talk to that's a hardcore fluke guy, they all have their own little tip, own little secret. And then you seen like, was it Zach Burge? I don't remember. One of the MLF guys, when he was out on Murray and caught them all on a fluke, he was using a 4/0 flipping hook and wrapping wire around the base of the hook to give it the weight there. And it was a exposed top hook, so that and putting a treble hook on it. I mean, he was like, it's a full rigged out system. I tried doing it. Like, I'm not that patient. I can't. If I lose this, or if the fluke rips, then you've got to spend 15 minutes re-rigging. kind of frustrating, but it's pretty cool. Definitely a good call out there, a fluke anywhere in the country. I think you could do it. What else you got for him, Nick?
Are you a so if you had to choose, are you stained water or are you clear water? And clear, I mean like
Lake Hartwell clear.
Yeah,
that's clear to me.
Yeah,
That's clear
we'll
to
go
me.
with that. Yeah, we'll say that's clear water.
So the clear water of Lake Hartwell is where I like. I have fished very clear water, which is Lake Jocassee up above Kiowee and them, and I just can't get used to seeing a tree 30 feet down in the water. Like every time I go up there, I'm just like, that's an entire tree, and I can see every branch. Like, how am I can't fish this.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's intimidating. It really is. Trying to get him to give up the secrets.
Yeah, you gotta give him sauce now.
Yeah. It's asking for the juice.
So there's two primary colors I've been using. One is the white fluke, of course, and then the I don't know if you call it the fluorescent yellow color.
Chartreuse?
Chartreuse.
Yeah.
I've been using that primarily in the last couple of weeks.
The straight chartreuse?
Yep.
That is some juice.
And I've been using the micro fluke.
Interesting.
Which, funny story on that is talking about Murray. That might be something you want to throw on Murray.
The micro flukes. Yep.
Even though I didn't catch any on that day with the fluke, I caught it on all my fish came on wacky worms.
Yeah. The wacky is definitely effective out there for sure.
That's another one you could use anytime, anywhere.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's your PB largemouth?
So right now it's Lake Jocassee at 8 pounds.
Nice.
Out of Jocassee?
Yep.
I know
That's not
they
that
grew
big
the
of a
largemouth.
lake.
It's open.
Yeah.
Like it's a big open lake, but it's not.
We'll say this: it's like
big.
You can run up in rivers that are probably, I don't know, Austin. What do you say? 40 feet wide up towards the waterfalls up in there.
I've never been on it, to be honest. No, it's a dream. My dad actually posted in there that he wants to fish there. We want to. We've been talking about it for years and never made the trip up there together. So maybe we'll have to do that soon.
The good thing about Jocassee is like you can take the wife and the kids, and you have waterfalls. You have a sandy beach. Like I think there's 5 or 7 waterfalls that you can go to with the boat and just pull right up on them. And I mean they have really big fish up there. I know there's a lot of people who get 10 pounds out of there easy on a largemouth.
Heck yeah.
There's smallmouth in there too, right?
Yes,
yeah, very few now. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to catch them.
No kidding. I know it's the state records out of there is like 9 pounds or something like that.
9 pound smallmouth in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's like the only place they get there.
Yeah.
It's hard. Is Jocassee. But I don't know. The Monticello might be starting to pump some big ones out now that. I mean, I've seen 3 or 4 over 4 this year come out of there, which is nuts. I mean, they were never that big until this year. So maybe they're continuing to grow. If we take care of it over the next couple of years, next 10 years, we might see some 8-pound smallmouth. Maybe. I know it takes them forever to get there, but.
I wonder if do people target them when they go there? Like, or is it just kind of one of those fishing for largemouth and you find a smallmouth?
Yeah, I think it's just if you find it, it's like a diamond in the rough kind of thing. You stumble on it now.
Yeah.
Because it's mainly known for trout. Like they can trout fish up there year round in 100 feet of water or 200 feet. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it is. Because there's only, one big boat ramp, right?
There's just one boat ramp with X amount of parking spots.
Yep.
And it gets crazy. If you want to watch some crazy ramp parking and driving, that's where to go.
Yeah. I've heard some
But you can
stories.
go up on a July 4th, like me and Melissa went up, I think 2 years ago on July 4th. And I mean, it was packed to the ramp, but on the lake, like you just saw a couple of boats. Like it was great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So would you consider yourself a like a power fisherman overall, or do you finesse more?
I've turned into the power fisherman in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Finesse has just gotten to me. Like I just can't do it. Like even Saturday, I wanted to, but I just wanted to hit a bank and just put the trolling motor on high and go and try to do it as best I could because it was a bad day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially those windy conditions, you know,
Yeah.
when I can't do it. I don't know. I know the pros do it, but I can't throw a drop shot and a real lightweight anything when there's 20-mile-an-hour winds and it's raining. Like I just want to throw a spinnerbait or a buzzbait or a frog or something. Like I don't want to.
I tried it for about 30 minutes. We went out on a hump that I know, and I tried to do the FFS and do the little stuff, and I almost went overboard like 3 times, and I'm like, no, I got to go.
Yeah, too much.
And my boat's 21 foot, and it holds itself, but like when the trolling motor's coming out of the water and you're just trying to hold on, like it's not worth it.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I don't know how it can, yeah, but who was it? Corey Johnson or Chris Johnson? One of the Johnson brothers over there yakking over the side of the boat this year. Like, and that's where he's from. That's what he's used to. It's like,
that's extreme. There's no way you catch me out there and that stuff.
Yeah, no, not me. I mean, but they do it. They do it.
The fish. That's their job, though. I mean, I guess it's different when you think about it like that. You know, they have $100,000 and taking care of their family on the lines.
Like, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. All I could think about Saturday was Lake Champlain, and that's what it was. I was like, if this is anything like Lake Champlain, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I feel like lakes like Hartwell and Champlain, though, you can get out of it. That's what's nice about them. You know, there's coves, there's banks you can go around like to get out of the chaos. But yeah, it can get crazy.
Yeah, was it Oneida? Is that the one you were on where it's just straight up and down? There's nowhere.
Cayuga.
Yeah. The Finger Lakes.
Yeah, all those Finger Lakes. Yeah, even Champlain. I mean, if you get a south wind, like if it's blowing out of the south, forget it because it's just a long, skinny lake. It does have coves and stuff you can get out of it, islands you can go on the other side, but. Yeah, if it's blowing from the south, I mean, you're talking 100-something miles from end to end, you know, so that's a long way for those waves to build up.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
No.
I don't know if the Avids are going to handle that. I mean, they do okay. They do all right. They're no glass boat by any means, but I don't know about an aluminum boat in that. I've already totaled one trying it, so on Santee. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
Toledo Bend. Yeah, I heard that about Toledo.
Yeah, you got the just straight line winds. There's nothing you can do about it at that point. Pick somewhere and hide, essentially.
Yep.
But
yeah, I'm scared to go to Santee. Every time I hear y'all talk about it, I'm just like, nope, trees, stumps. Nah, I'm good.
Just follow someone.
Yeah.
if they stop quick, you know they hit something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a scary place if you don't know it. If you're around people that know it, jump in behind them, run it with them, or don't, because some guys don't care. For sure. Some guys will just run whatever.
We followed one guy. He was, it could have been he knew exactly where he was going, or he had no clue and was just saying, let's do it. But he was going in between trees and stuff, and I followed him. I mean, we did it. I had an aluminum boat though, so I felt like I had a little more leeway than.
Did you go behind the island?
When you get to the end of that
canal and take a left?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very scary through there.
It is. Yeah.
There are safe runs through there. But the first time I ever did that was the same thing. Me and Lonnie were fishing together, and I was coming across the lake in like 4 or 5 foot rollers, just getting beat up. And I was supposed to turn down lake to get to where we were going. and go head on into them. And Lonnie just pointed to a boat going behind the islands, and he said, "Just follow them."
Yeah.
And we lost them, and I got terrified. I just trimmed the jack plate all the way up and just never let out of it until we got to where we were.
Oh yeah.
But I think I got a decent idea of how to run it now. I don't know. Found out by accident.
You know that that
I do
rod
not
spot-
recommend that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
you're
that
talking the riprap across the dam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So me and Ben were out there, and it looked really good. So we pulled in there. I mean, I didn't see any trees. We went in pretty fast, started fishing, and when we were leaving, I was idling out and found out that the Pro XS actually has a pretty cool feature on it. If you hit it, if you have resistance on your propeller, it shuts the motor down.
Mm-hmm.
Found that out because I hit a stump.
Yep. Yeah, those are full-grown trees out there.
Oh yeah.
That's 30, 40 feet of water. You're hitting
Yeah.
treetops. I mean, it's wild.
Yeah.
And I obviously wasn't here for, was that Hurricane Hugo, I think it was, that destroyed South Carolina back in like 2008, I think it was, if I remember correct. I'm sure there's a South Carolina guy in here somewhere that can tell me. But I guess that lake, you used to be able to see a lot of that until that hurricane come through and wiped them all out. And now they're all just right below the surface at a normal pool, which I'll tell you what, you ever go out there when the water's 6 foot low, 7 foot low, you don't want to run that lake anymore. It makes you nervous.
Do they drain it a lot? Like in the
No, in the fall sometimes it's a power plant lake, so if the water's not coming downstream, they continue to run for power. So if there's been a couple of years I've seen it get pretty low, but not as low as a long time ago. I believe it. I absolutely believe it.
I hear that story every time I talk about Santee with her.
Mm-hmm.
That's her saying, "Don't go out there."
Yeah,
Right.
That's her saying, "Don't do it."
Right. Yeah, it can be a dangerous place, but it can be a really fun place. There's really safe ways to navigate Santee. Everybody always talks about the bad. You'll be all right if you just, pay attention, stay in the boat lanes and do it that way. But there's definitely easy ways to get off track. If you talk to somebody, for everybody listening right now, if you come to Santee, please don't hesitate to hit me up or hit somebody up that knows that lake before you run it. We'll tell
What was
you.
the ramp that I told you I launched at? It's
Alex Harbin and the
No.
Waibu Creek and the creek y'all were staying in.
No, it was let's see if I can find it on maps. It was down towards where we launched. What was that one that we launched out of? Black something.
Black's Camp.
So if you went up through the canal, it was on the left out there at the end.
Oh,
We launched in there, and I didn't even start. I was looking around, like, dude, I'm not even putting my motor down. It was my first time on the lake. I was like, this looks so sketchy.
Rocks Pond.
That's
It was or Spires.
Spires. That's the one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way I'm running this. It's not a chance.
That's actually where me and Lonnie were running to in that story I was telling you. We were running from across the lake to over there. And I was running through all of that. Supposed to be following a boat, but lost them. Yeah, it's a little sketchy out there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a fun place. But if you had anywhere to go, anywhere in the world to fish and target any species, what would it be?
Toss up between Florida and Texas, but I'm gonna have to go with Texas for bass.
Texas for bass. What would the Florida option be?
Okeechobee for bass.
Yeah.
We go down every year to Florida now to Crystal River, and you can in there. The bay is Crystal River Bay, so you can see the manatees, which Melissa loves. So you can swim with them and everything. But you can also bass fish and tarpon fish inside the bay there.
Yeah.
And then you can go out to the Gulf and do your shrimp and fish. It's just I like the saltwater, but I just like the bass. Like even down there, like you can bass fish right in the brackish water, and it's just great.
Oh yeah, tidal river fishing is so much fun. In the South, South Carolina has some great on the Cooper River. There's some awesome fishing you can do there. I personally prefer inshore saltwater over bass fishing. I I would rather do that than bass fish. If I had a choice anywhere in the world, go anywhere, we go bass fishing or go, Texas might get me, but or
See, Robert's been showing me photos of the bass out there, and I mean it's a class of its own, I guess.
yeah, that's true.
What about what's that big lake in Mexico that's really famous too?
El Salto?
Yeah.
It's on my list. I will go.
Yeah.
I will go. I was listening to BTL was that earlier this year. They went and caught like averaged like 130 fish a day with like a 5-pound average. Like stupid. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, El Salto would be a good trip.
Crazy.
Yeah, we need to get a sponsor to do like an AFFL directors thing. You know what I mean? And we'll take them fishing.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding. That would be cool. That would be cool.
You know what blows my mind is bass fishing in Africa.
Oh yeah, Southern Africa. Yeah,
it just doesn't when I think of Africa, I don't think of like that. I think of like lions and hyenas. Like bass fishing is not like I don't know. It blows my mind that it's there.
Yeah. And not Finland, Norway, or one of those. I don't remember. One of the European countries, they just had the national or the world championship up there. And somehow Team USA won with no information. And they had largemouth. I think it was Jacob Wheeler and a couple of them. But it blew my mind. I don't remember where it was. I'd have to look that up. But do you see the kill order in, is it Nova Scotia for smallmouth?
No.
They like put them in. And now there's a kill order in Canada in a specific watershed that you have to kill all smallmouth bass if you catch them. Sorry, that just made me think of it about different countries. Thought that was wild the other day when I read it.
So up here, Maine, right next door to us, they actually do kill tournaments for bass in a lot of their lakes.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they're real big on like the trout and the salmon and stuff, and obviously bass.
The competitiveness, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But if you had a species, not bass, to go after, what would it be? Tarpon? Yeah. I'm with that. Tarpon would be cool. I've never caught one. Boom. All right. Mike, we're you know how the military works. You say something, you just volunteered yourself to be the team lead.
He did it. I think it was this year. He sent me some pictures. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen my feed or whatever just keeps showing me tarpon videos of guys throwing top waters and the way they just annihilate it. Yeah, I'd be 100% down.
I'd really like to try like tuna fishing or like
for sure
or something where you like fight it for hours. You know what I mean? Like you see them out there on the strapping boat and stuff. Like I think that'd be quite the rush.
Dude, I've
seen those cast top waters. I know Austin's probably seen them. That's where they started, was in Australia for tuna and all that stuff, and they brought it over for bass.
I think for me, my big bucket list is South America for peacocks in the Amazon. I don't know why.
Have you seen the hotel with all the bass boats being pulled behind the it's like a houseboat?
Yeah, it's like a giant houseboat, like a cruise ship, but a houseboat. Yeah.
It's been all over my Facebook feed for like the last month.
Oh, I've priced it out so many times over the last year. Like it's not cheap. I'll say that. It is not cheap at all. It's a pipe dream, but
it's all inclusive.
It is. It is. I think it would be fun. I think it would be a great time. I watched a YouTube video I think it was with my father-in-law. We were when I was up in Kentucky, and it was some guys doing that, and they were like getting in the river with these peacock bass and like holding them up. Like, y'all are wild, dude. There it is, Portugal. Yep, that's where it was. I was not expecting for that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like you just don't think about stuff like that.
Yeah, Goliaths are big on me. I don't know if I want to handle a marlin. Like it'd be cool to be on the boat for, but I don't want to be the guy in the seat the whole time. But A Goliath would be pretty cool. Like when you see the guys in Florida standing on the docks, just dropping straight down and bringing up giant Goliaths. I'd be cool with that for sure. But
Yeah.
heck yeah. What else you got, Nick?
Why do you? I think this is interesting. And Austin, you can answer this too.
Okay.
Why do you choose an aluminum boat over fiberglass?
Oh.
So I can hit stuff and just buff it out and paint over it.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Amen.
I've already got
I
2
will
scratches
say-
on the brand new boat, and I'm still waiting to paint those 2 scratches, but they might get painted eventually.
I do miss my aluminum for that reason. Like not being afraid to pull up to like a stump or something and, you know, weaving through trees and or whatever. Like it's even a dock. You know what I mean? Like it's yeah.
So
Other than that, why? Is there another reason or is that the main one?
Just for the towing capacity and all that stuff. I mean, even with my bigger Avid now, like it's still, 2,000-3,000 pounds lighter than the Tritons and stuff. And,
Oh yeah.
Especially over here, like if I want to go to like Lake Chateau or Lake Burton up in the mountains, like it's not killing. It's hurting my truck, but it's not killing it.
Yeah.
To get over the mountains.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like
And
going
honestly,
to Chickamauga, like I'm trying to avoid Atlanta probably and go over the mountain way.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going. I'm not going through Atlanta. No,
it's quicker through Atlanta, but then again, it's not quicker.
I did Atlanta going to West Point. That was the one and only time I will ever go through that again. That was 7-lane highway and like no, it's just chaos. The whole time I'm sitting there driving, I'm like, oh, please no one hit me. Like
even when I bought my boat, like it was at Buck Island in Alabama, which is 3 hours away, and you had to go through Atlanta. And for the first 3 months when I kept having to go back for stuff, I was like, God, I hate this. Like I got this 21-foot boat, 26 feet all. I'm like, I'm in the 3rd lane or 4th. I go, oh God.
I got stuck when I bought my boat in Arkansas. I had to come back 20, and I come 20 across Atlanta, and I got stuck in the left lane. I went to pass one car at midnight. I was like, oh, I hit Atlanta at midnight. It'll be fine. Everybody, the traffic will be way wound down. Everything should be smooth. BS. Atlanta at midnight on 20 on Labor Day weekend is a NASCAR track. And if you get in a lane, you're stuck with a boat. I got over in the left lane and just to pass one car, and I got stuck there for probably 10 miles. I could not. I had my turn signal on for 15 minutes, and these guys are right past me every time.
It doesn't matter any time of the day. It doesn't matter when you go to Atlanta. There's always traffic. There's always crazy drivers. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've got like a 2-hour window that Atlanta is clean and clear to ride through from 02 to 04 in the morning. That's it.
That's it.
That is it. After 04, they start piling on the interstate to get to work. It is brutal. And there's still traffic from 04 to 0 or 02 to 04. I mean, it is horrible.
Yeah.
But
and every time I went to Alabama, it's like, you can take 285 to go around and hit 20. And Google's like, nope, go through downtown. It's quicker. And I'm like, I hate you, Google. Like, no.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
I will rather dodge. We've talked about this, Nick, about the time you cut or add to cut away from DC. That's how I feel about Atlanta. I'll add 2 hours to dodge Atlanta's traffic. If Atlanta's going to be an hour faster, I'll still add an additional 2 hours.
It's just the stress, man. Like when you're sitting in traffic, when I sit in traffic with a boat, I'm sure everybody that tows is the same. All I think about is someone is not going to pay attention. They're going to go right into my outboard.
Yep.
Like,
I can rent a truck. I can't rent a boat.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the way your wife said it here, Philip. Atlanta is an hour from Atlanta.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good way.
We literally live like downtown. It'd probably take us an hour and a half to get there, but then it's just crazy. Which now they have the easy pass lanes. You can get in the far left lane and just pay to go. And I'll still get over there and I'm like passing cars that are stopped in traffic, and I'm still afraid someone's going to swerve over in front of me or something. Like it's just crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the aluminum boat though, like they've come so far too. Like even the ride quality on aluminum boats has come such a long way from what they were, prior. It's crazy.
I mean, even from my 2017 moving to this Avid, like it's so much of a difference. And like I had a veteran on my boat Saturday, and he was like, "This is the back deck." I'm like, "Yeah, this is an Avid back deck." And he's like, "God, I can move around, not fall over." I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I bought the boat. Like, I have plenty of room back there, and not feel like on some of the other boats where you're just gonna move 2 feet and fall over. Like, you can't do that on my Avid. Like, it's just so big."
Yeah.
And they're so stable compared to other aluminum boats. Like I had a 2008 G3 that was 19 foot with a 150 on it, and it felt like a big aluminum boat at that time. And then when I got in the Avid as well, I was like, okay, yeah, this is a whole different ball game. Whole different ball game. But I think we're. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they've come so far. Even like seen those crest liners, the MX-21 and the MX-19, the size of the front deck on those things.
Yeah, the one John Cox is running. Yeah. I mean, it's like you could fish 10 people up there. What the
insane.
Heck? Yeah. You put a king size mattress on the front deck of that joker. It's wild.
You can't.
Yeah, Melissa calls up my boat like a aircraft carrier or battleship, the size of the front deck and the back. Like it's huge.
Yeah.
Like I was sitting down yesterday, and I was retying something, and I was getting close to a dock, and my buddy was fishing, and I laid back because of my 17. I could reach back and hit my anchor lock on my Minn Kota, and I was like trying to do it. I was like, "Nah, I can't do it in this boat. I got to move all the way up front and walk to it." Like Jesus.
Yep. They are big. I love the back deck as well. That's one of my favorite parts about it. I love the storage back there. I think my biggest complaint about an aluminum boat is how critical it is. You have to balance the boats for top end performance and just handling in general. I feel like I was not good at that for a long time. The first like year and a half of owning that boat. And then I was always like, man, why does it feel like this boat drives different every time I'm on the water? My top end changes every time I'm on the water. And then I started paying attention to some podcasts talking about, boat performance, weight up front, all that balance. And that's definitely a huge factor with those light boats.
Oh yeah. That crest liner, I was actually doing research on, they have in the rod locker in the middle, there's a compartment underneath that where the batteries and the charger are. So the batteries are up front, so the weight's like centered in the front.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's how the Avids are. The Avid's fuel tank is way up towards the front, like under the seats.
Yeah.
Which it scared me a few times. Like when I first got the boat, I heard a loud bang, and I did not know what it was. And it was my fuel tank breathing the air in and out and equalizing, and it made that loud thud. And I thought I'd done like hit something with a trolling motor. I was like, oh my God.
I think I like the weight up front, but I think that's one thing Express did good is Express put on the X-21s, they have the tank right on the very back up against the transom. So all of your weight's there, and they put their they offset the jack plate perfectly enough to get enough rise in the aft to where it offsets the weight. And I think that's why you see an Express top out like they do. Like what's the top end you're getting on that Avid, the 21 foot? You got 250, right?
Yeah, I got the 250 and top end, and it's not even the top end because I can't get it to top out. The RPMs on it is 63 to 65 full tournament load.
Right.
But I also have the power pulls in the back. So, I mean, my back end is like from the driver back is, I don't know, at least 2,000 pounds probably back there.
Right. But you get like an Express in the same configuration in the 21-foot Expresses, and they're running low 70s.
Yeah.
I think that fuel tank does a lot there differently.
And their hyperlift hull too. When I had my hyperlift hull, it was a lot better than this hull that I have now with the Avid.
I agree. Yeah, the way it rides for sure.
Yeah. And loading, like this boat to load and get it centered, it'll center itself, but getting that eye hook on the front perfect is a pain.
It's
versus
impossible.
the Express.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. I've had this
Yeah.
boat for 2 years and I still struggle with it at new ramps.
The Express, I could just power load it straight on, hook it up, and I'm done. This thing, I'm like, Melissa will be standing up at the front, like, go left 3 inches. Yep, go back. And I'm like, forever and a day to get it loaded now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's still worth it though. Like I love to have an aluminum boat for the same reason you said. Like, just I'm rough. You know what I mean? Like, I use it as a workhorse. If I want to get up in a creek that's just big enough for the boat, I do.
Yep.
And I've made that mistake a couple times where I can't turn around, and it's
I just
been
raise
fun.
my jack plate and lift my motor up and go. And I'm like, people, like, even the Crystal River, like, even at high tide, it's probably in some areas only like 3 feet. And when I took mine down there, they were like, you can't take this out. And I'm like, oh, it'll just go right over everything. They were just amazed. A lot of the guides were.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It looks like a big, heavy boat, but they draft really shallow.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I love that.
And Avid, I mean, I will say this about Avid versus Express. Express, your local dealer will do a lot. But for Avid, I have literally called the manufacturer and talked to, I think it's Lauren McKnight. And she's been like, hey, I'll send this out to you. We'll get it fixed. Like,
off the cuff. Yep.
Yeah, like my live well doors, one of them wasn't wide enough. So in the ABA Nationals, I kept losing water out of my live well, and I didn't realize it. And it had about almost an inch gap between the 2 doors.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I took photos, and they sent it back out, C-deck and everything, and put it back on. No problem.
Same thing kind of happened with me. My live well was leaking from the bottom. The fiberglass cracked. I had some issues with my local dealer, and my local dealer was blaming it on Avid. So I called down there and talked to Lauren, and she was like, no, here's what's actually going on. Your dealer's being stupid. We got a new one en route. We'll get it squared away. And then she sent me a box with like a t-shirt and a hat and all this stuff. I was like, man, that's cool. And it's not a cheap, like $5 t-shirt either. Like, no, it's nice stuff. I was pretty happy with them there.
That's why I was really surprised. Yeah, everybody talks bad about them, but then as soon as I talked to them, it was great. And like, I had to drive 3 hours because, like you, my local dealer up here, I didn't buy from, just did not want to do the warranty work. And I was like, hey, and they're like, look, just take it back to Bucks. They'll make it right. We're good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, customer service goes a long way when you're spending that kind of money on a boat. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. We got anything else for him there, Nick? Or you want to start diving into the Guardian Classic part of it?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Well, before we dive into that, we've got a handful of people in here. We've only got, oh my goodness. Why does it do this?
Nobody's doing the hashtag.
Okay, I've got 3. I know more people did it. So everyone, if you're not, if you weren't in here in the beginning or you already did it and I'm not tracking it for some reason, it's showing we only have 3 entries. Go ahead and redrop in hashtag the SITREP. And if you're just now coming in, make sure y'all are like, sharing, and commenting and getting over to the YouTube profile to subscribe, please. Just like it's there on the page. We're doing pretty good though tonight. The people that did post, I didn't have any like weird spaces or none of that weird stuff. It's been pretty smooth tonight. But make sure y'all are redoing that. If you already did hashtag the SITREP in the comments, make sure y'all go ahead and redo that because we definitely had an error occur on the page. Let's see here. They're all coming in. Let me make sure it's actually counting them. It is. All right, we're at 7. Yep, they're flowing. Cool. Well, yeah, so let's talk about the Guardian Classic, Philip. So big number 1 here, right? Big number 1 here, the champ.
I only got one good fish, and that helped us get the smallest one out. Wesley was the man. I mean, I watched him do a clinic. I'm sitting there throwing it the same way he is, and I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? Like, oh my God. I told him, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. He's like, no, you're doing everything right. And I'm like, no, I'm just not catching.
Yeah.
But then we went back to the back of the creeks and I'm throwing the wacky rig and I'm just putting them in the boat. And he was like, he's looking, he isn't getting anything. I'm like, I don't know.
Some people just got the touch. That's what it is. You had the wacky rig touch, and he had the I mean, you kind of told me, I won't say it, but he had the touch with what y'all were throwing in the beginning.
That was your first one.
That was my first one, and it will not be my last. That is for sure.
So why is that? So like, tell us about your experience, because we've talked about it. We've had other people talk about it. So coming from it, exclude the winning part, right?
Right.
The overall experience of the event. What are your thoughts on it?
So to begin with, I was hesitant to go because it's literally 3 hours for me to get there, whether I take the back roads or go to Greenville and then cut back down. So I was like, well, I'm going to nationals to help y'all out. So I was like, well, I already spent that money. I was like, well, on Monday, Bobby put out like, hey, we'll pay an AFFL members boat fee. And I was like, okay, what do you need? Do you need boaters or veterans? And so Bobby's like, boaters. Well, all right, I'm coming. And then he called me later that night and he's like, I got plenty of boats now, but now I need veterans. I'm like, okay, I'll come as a veteran. And didn't think much about it. I was like, I'm just going to go fish. Never been here before. And then the draw came out and he's like, hey, Wesley Sandifer, and you got it. And didn't know, never knew Wesley, never met him before. Great guy. And I'm telling you, he's a hammer on that lake for sure. But we get there and, we're talking and we're getting everything. And I'll say this, like, Bobby puts on a great tournament. Like, we're all sitting there, and I've been in tournaments like y'all have, where we're all sitting there before blast off. We're tying stuff up, getting our rods and boats ready. But when the For His Glory poem started playing, I mean, I looked around and everybody stopped what they were doing, and it was just, I don't know, it was a calmness, and I don't know, it was just something you cannot describe unless you were there. And then after the fact and the weigh-ins and all the sponsors and everything, I mean, it was just so surreal to be in something like that.
Right.
Like, I think and that's why I want my guys that joined the league this year. That's why I'm going to change my date for that November tournament so that they have the opportunity to go see, as boaters and as veterans, what he puts on. Like, it's top notch. I mean, you can't even describe it, I don't think.
I mean, it looks like a professional event. Like when you like an Elite Series event. Like, that's like when I see the pictures of it and hear people talking about it, that's what's in my mind. Like, it looks like a top tier bass fishing event.
It is, man. I'll tell you, I've been to a bunch of those things, a bunch of veteran events, across the country. Well, I wouldn't say across the country, but in the Southeast. And there's nothing even close to it.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, the military ABA is a really fun event. But like, even as big as the ABA is, and they're having one event a year, you see the minimalist effort they put into it. And I'm not trying to talk crap about the ABA. If anybody in here is a big fan of the ABA, I'm sorry, that's not what my intentions are here.
I love that event.
I do too. And I do too. But like, the way the weigh-in is and like the meeting, it's kind of just, you know what I mean? It's
like a standard tournament. Like, it's a
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, talking on that, like the ABA this year, like, there was a guy, we went to the dinner the night, before the tournament. I sat at a table, and he actually is a firefighter over here in our county. And he looked at me, and I'm looking at him like we know each other. And then we figured out how we know each other, because I'm a deputy over here. And we put in at Broyles, and he followed me over the 2 mornings. But it was just me, him, and another boater that were talking before blast off. And at the end, like, there wasn't the camaraderie or the dock talk like there is at Bobby's.
Right.
Like, it didn't matter if you were Brian new. Like, Brian was talking to everybody. Hank Cherry was there just talking to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just local people or veterans and everybody just on the same wavelength. Like, it was great.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It's definitely cool. I love the way it all went down. I really enjoyed being the safety boat this year too. Being out there, I had the camera guy with me, one of my troops out there with me taking pictures as the safety boat, and like just sitting there talking with everybody. And as they go by and wishing them a good day and telling them to be safe and everything. I mean, that was really enjoyable for me. It was cool for me because I was out there watching it all take place instead of being involved in it. Instead of being in it, it was cool kind of being there from afar, watching it go down. And I loved every
noticed too,
minute
like
of it.
everybody going by you, like smiling, laughing, like you
Oh
could
yeah,
tell they were enjoying themselves, which is, that's what it's all about.
yeah. It was cool, It was
and it was
definitely
awesome
cool.
because when we saw you there, like we knew we could blast off, but it was like the anticipation to get to you as a safety boat had just made it just like, okay, we're ready. Oh, we're going. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
And there was only 3 boats that tried to throw me out. So I was happy with that. Out of 56 boats, only a couple of guys tried to blow my doors off. So it was pretty good.
Like that's the tournament. Like I was talking to some folks yesterday about, what we could do better after our first tournament or what, they saw was wrong or whatever. Cause that was my first tournament as a tournament director and for the AFFL in Georgia. And like, I will never be to Bobby's level as a tournament director, but I want to try my best to be there. And like,
right.
That's the way I want Georgia. And for me as a tournament director, that's what I aspire to, is Bobby's kind of tournament.
Yeah, for sure. I love every minute of it. I love the Old Glory speech, the national anthem, all that. I was really happy when he told me about the fire truck coming. I thought that was a real nice piece to it this year.
It looked so good, man. And I even saw in the pictures there was like fireworks for the.
Oh yeah.
Well, that surprised everybody when it went off. Like we're like, what?
Kind of got in trouble for that, but it is what it is. I didn't hear the end game of it, but I guess that's in the state park rules. You're not allowed to shoot fireworks. So you live and you learn. Better ask for forgiveness than permission sometimes.
There you go.
But yeah, it was definitely a blast for sure. I was really thankful that Hank showed up and was out there kind of just chatting with some of the guys and whatnot. And Brian New had one of my troops, so I thought that was pretty cool here in my troop. My troop never been in a bass boat before in his life. He had been fishing a few times in his whole life, and then got paired up. Yeah, he gets Brian New, and he's like, "Dude, that boat's got to be the fastest boat in the world." I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "We were literally all or none." I was like, "Yeah, that's how they operate, man." Like,
what's he run? What's he run for a boat?
He runs a Falcon. I think it's
that's
21. Yeah, it might be the 20 F20. I think is what it is.
That's funny story about the weigh-in. Like you weighed me, and so Wesley went and loaded the boat and everything because he was like, "Look, just see if we get beat." So I'm sitting there, and Brian goes up there, and I did not hear the dead fish penalty at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I just look at the weight, and I'm like, I text him, I'm like, "We got second," and so we're sitting there, and y'all are calling it out, third place, and then second place, and we hear Brian's name. Me and Wesley just look at each other, and I'm like, The what? Like both of our faces at the same time staring at each other like we just won. Like what?
Yeah, because Brian had 2 dead fish. He almost had a third.
Wow.
One of them was real close, but when I reached down and touched the crushers, they crushed my finger, so I gave it to him as a live fish. But that's kind of my rule of thumb is if I can feel the crushers move when I put my finger down there, it's a live fish.
It was hard to keep the fish alive that day. We fought all day with them. Fin clips, ice, and we were making, as you saw on the GPS, like we were making hard, fast runs.
Yeah, y'all were all over the place.
It was rough.
Yeah, y'all were. I had their GPS, Nick, and like I had everybody send me their locations, and I tried to find them like 3 times because obviously I knew Wesley was going to do good, and I was like, man, we got to get on them at least at some point, see if we can get some top water pictures or something like that. And I couldn't find them, dude. I could not find them. It was like I would pull up my phone and be like, oh, they're right around the corner. I run there. Nobody's in the vicinity. Like, dude, they're like 10 miles away. What just happened? Like, how did they get that far across? Try to run over there. Nope, they're gone again. I mean, they were just bouncing all over the lake. And they weren't the only ones.
Nothing. I mean, we would take off, and we had our little milk run. I mean, it was about 6 or 7 spots, but like when we took off, it was as fast as we could go, get out, throw the trolling motor down, and start throwing, and then 5 or 6 minutes later, 10 minutes, we're gone to another spot again, just letting it reload.
Yep. That's the Lake Murray way, man. That's the herring way for the guys that Wesley Sandifer has most definitely made a name for himself out here on Lake Murray. And I've heard some things about him on Hartwell, catching them on Hartwell and all the herring lakes.
Yeah, all the herring lakes.
And that's how they do it. All them guys that are the big herring guys it's a running gun all day, every day, all year round.
And that's what my guys did yesterday. Like, I was surprised that we had, and I kind of figured because I had talked to some folks, they called me, and then when I looked them up, I was like, well, I don't even know I'm fishing because these guys are hammers on this lake, and they're coming to my, benefit tournament, and they showed up and showed out. That's for sure.
Yeah, so we didn't even talk about that yet. We're starting to get a little long here, but we'll briefly run over that. Let me pull up the results. So, that threw me for a pretty good loop. I'm not gonna lie. When you sent me those results, Max Heaton and Austin Parr with 20 pounds, 15 ounces, and then you had Chris Atkins and Dylan Atkins with 19 flat, and then Porter Guy and Chat Hart 18-15. Scooter Legan and Levi Seagraves with 18-2. I mean, and then it tapered from there, but your top four at over 18 pounds on Hartwell.
And every one of them are hammers, yeah.
I can tell. I mean, they really dropped it.
I had my money on Scooter or Parker getting first. And then when I looked at Austin's Facebook and a few other people I talked to, I was like, I probably should have put my money on them over those two. But Parker and Scooter, like, Scooter's really good on all the herring lakes that I've heard about. So
those are some mega sacks for there. Dale Harbor, is that one of the guys? I've seen that. Yeah.
Yep. Dale, he's a hammer. Like, I remember Coney Bass Club. We were on a Coney. I think it was middle of the summer, and everybody was just having a hard time. And here he comes in with, like, I want to say, and Dale might be able to correct me, but it was like a 20-pound sack on a Coney. I mean, nobody even got close to him that day. I was like, what do you do? And that's my big competition was him and David Lundy that are going to come into the league this year, and David Thornton. Those guys, they can show out for sure.
Heck yeah. I know George is definitely going to be competitive with us.
Oh yeah.
There's some guys down there I know that just it don't matter conditions. You can put them on any lake in the country, and they're ready to rock. Like, I know a couple guys I think down there that you might be able to just throw them on the Elite Series and let them hang in the top 10, like if they wanted to, for sure.
I mean, we had 10 boats, but I think that a lot of it was the weather and
for sure
and stuff. But I think we've been promoting it, and a lot of people I talk to, like, I get calls pretty much every day about the league or the benefit tournaments we're putting on, and I'm just trying to grow it and show them, like, hey, this is the league that you want to be in. Like, we're professionals. Like, I had a guy call me, and he's like, this isn't a pot tournament. Like, you're just throwing the fish in a basket and, calling out a weight, and that's the winner, and that's it. And I'm like, oh, no. I was like, it's all on Wayfish app. It's a piece of paper down here, too. Like, nothing's hidden. It's pro scales. Like, we've did it up. And I think the few people that showed up and saw the easy up and everything of how it was set up, they're like, no, this is like an elite league kind of thing.
That's a goal.
Still the brotherhood.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the goal. Professionalism, but still maintaining a good brotherhood.
Yeah.
That's a goal for sure. I'm happy with you having 10 boats. I really am.
Me too.
I know you probably seeming a little bummed out about it. But
I am. I was expecting I told him in the morning, my partner, which is Jacob Fife, and he's in the picture on the banner, the little short guy who's like 5 foot tall. He's a deputy with me. And he's like, how many boats you got coming? I'm like, well, I said, I know 6. I said, I'm hoping 20 to 25. And then he's like, what if we get 49? I was like, if we get 49, I said, one, I'm not going to be able to fish like any, because I'm going to be like so ecstatic.
Right.
It'll
It'll get there. It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
10 boats is a great first derby. Yeah.
I feel like Georgia's going to go. I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot of veterans, first responders, bass fishermen, the combination of the three. Like I feel like Georgia's going to be a big state.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think you're off to a great start with 10 boats. We thought South Carolina was going to show up and show out, right before my first open tournament. The first one I ever had, I thought I was going to have, what did I tell you, Nick? Probably 30 to 40 boats.
Yeah.
Like, consistently. That's a factor. That's kind of what makes it hard around the fall is the deer season stuff. But I thought for sure my first derby that I had 30 to 40 boats lined up ready to rock. And then I had 8 show up, and it bummed me out, dude. It really bummed me out. And then
I was happy with it.
yeah. I was happy. It was the right guys. You know what I mean? And I think that's what matters the most. I would rather have a consistent, like I did this year. I had consistent 10 to 15 boats of the right guys. Every one of the dudes that came this year, all of them are stand-up gentlemen. I know there's a few on here. Thank you guys for all your support. I would rather have a group of those guys in a small number than have 50 dudes and everybody's, kind of shut out. And, right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah.
And you have to think too, like when you pop up in a new state, all eyes are looking at you like, who are these people? Are they legit? Right. What are they about? Is it like you said, Phil? Like, is this just another tournament that someone's putting on? Like, there's a lot of questions people have, and I feel like people are hesitant to just jump in and spend money on something new without realizing what we're actually about.
There's a stigma, especially like Austin knows, Savannah River Chain. There's pot tournaments every day of the week.
Yeah,
and a lot of people are getting tired of that, and they just want a tournament trailer league that is professional, nicely run. I mean, that's what my goal is to, like, all the guys who came out that were hammers. I think they saw like, we're a league, we're doing it, but it's still, you can talk to the director, you see everything, it's open, the scales are there, the LED lights are on, everybody knows your weights, there's no question. There's a problem, the tournament director's right there. You just go, hey, and we'll fix it,
Yeah. And then I think the thing too is like, it's with our tournaments that we do, it's not, yes, it's a professional event, but we have meaning behind what we do. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
It's not just about getting out there and going and fishing a tournament that's run well. It's getting the veterans and first responders together. We donate money to organizations. We have resources where if one of our brothers and sisters is struggling, we can get them help. But we can get them going in a direction, that's what it's about. And I think once people start seeing that more, it'll open a lot of eyes for sure.
And I think that's happened in Georgia. A lot of people are like, I did my 3 opens and they're all benefit tournaments. And they saw which organizations they're going to. They're legit organizations that help veterans, first responders. And people were like, I think I even had a guy off the Hartwell area or Lanier area say, why doesn't anybody do this on Lanier? And I was like, I'll do it on Lanier too.
Yeah.
I was like, but I agree that nobody does these kind of tournaments except there's only one other trail here in Georgia that does a lot of and they don't do a lot. They do probably maybe 2 veteran first responder organizations a year, and that's it for the state.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it'll grow. Once people realize, and look at us, we're volunteers. You know what I mean? Like 100% payback. Like none of us are doing this to make money.
Absolutely.
And that's a lot of the guys that I had talked to. They were like, so how much do the directors make? And when I tell them, like, there's no cut. They were just like, they just open mouthed a gas to it. And they're like, how do you do this? I'm like, it's because we love what we do. And we have a, meaning behind our league.
Yeah.
Right. We're here to make a difference, not make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
So don't be discouraged about the 10.
Yeah, and your wife has a very optimistic way of looking at it. Absolutely. Good to have a manageable number for your first gig. If you had 49 boats showed up, it probably would have been a very stressful, rough day. But
I wouldn't have been on here tonight. I'd have probably been curled up in my recliner, just hiding.
yeah, it would it probably would have beat me up. I haven't managed a tournament by myself with that much or that many boats. So like Bobby's tournament, that's a team effort, man. There's so many people involved in making decisions, helping out, doing this, doing that. When you get up to that 50 boat realm, it gets out of hand quick. First of all, no one is happy. No matter what the situation, or not, no one is happy. There is always someone that is not happy about something or more. And then just the chaos that can ensue. Me and Bobby were at a tournament the weekend before his. And it was a great ran tournament. I'm not trying to talk crap about their tournament by any means. It was ran really well, but the morning was horrible. It was just a guy standing out at the end of the dock with no mic or nothing, just kind of yelling random numbers, and then people are weaving in front of each other, and it's getting, a little unorganized, and then guys are just blasting each other's doors off, and it ended up looking like a shotgun blast off with like 50 boats, and it got out of hand really quick. That's where the safety boat idea came from. Yeah. Me and Bobby were sitting there in the back. We were one of the last boats. We were sitting there in the back, and we were like, yeah, that ain't happening next Saturday. This is out of hand.
My plan yesterday. And I told everybody, I was like, we're going to do a blast off, come by the dock. But the wind was so bad, and the speaker, you couldn't hear. And finally, I was like, okay, we got one of the AMVET guys who's retired first sergeant. I was like, use your first sergeant voice. Boat one. And if we'd had 50 yesterday, it would have been chaos because of the wind, and you couldn't hear 20 or 30 feet away. It was bad. And even when they came in, they were like, hey, we're so glad you didn't have us come by the dock like that. I was like, no, I'm not gonna have a boat hit a dock. It's safety for me.
Absolutely. Hartwell, that one year it was sketchy.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was like, Nick, you remember when we were at Hartwell together and trying to idle up to that T-dock, fighting that wind blowing straight in towards it. It was
a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting there keep my hand so the boat didn't bounce into the dock. It's like, God, please hurry up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like yesterday evening. We got done. We were doing weigh-in. I was like, okay, I have one boat missing, and everybody's kind of standing there. And I was like, we got done weighing. I'm like, has anybody seen this guy? Know him or whatever? And they're like, no. And I'm like, I had Melissa. I was like, look at my emergency contact for him. Call it. I was like, I'm not leaving the ramp until I know he's safe. And everybody who was there was just like, are you serious? I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. Like, there's a guy out there. If he's not out there, I need to know where he is. And they were just amazed that, we care so much about our anglers.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were just kind of like, anybody else would have just been like, oh, well, whatever.
Yep. Immediately, if somebody's not there, you've weighed a bunch of fish and you got a couple blanks on the board, start calling.
Yep.
Start calling. If we can't get a hold of you, we'll go looking for you. I ask everybody, what boat are you in? What's it look like? Give me a description so I can find you if I need to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's nice, too, that you're getting, even if it is just a handful of people at all of your opens, you're going to find that that's going to be your core group of guys like we were talking about for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And up here, we have 7 teams, 6 or 7 teams at every event, but in the morning and the afternoon, I know that these guys always offer help. Like, hey, what do you need help with? And as the club continues to grow, that group of guys, I know that they're not going to stop offering help because it's big. It's just nice knowing that if let's just say we got to 50 boats and I needed help, I know that it's there.
Exactly.
That's what's nice about having that tight group of guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the AMVETs were like, well, what time should we get there? And I was like 4:30, and the high school group got there at 5:30, and they're like, why were we here so early? I was like, I wanted everything set up, registration, everything. So when first boat showed up, we were ready to go. And they were like, oh, we understand now, because they saw how fast the boats get put in the water. And they're like, yeah, because we were doing live well checks, and they're like, well, we can do it when they put it in the water. And I'm like, no, just wait, and you'll see how fast the boat goes in the water here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it was you got anything else for him, Nick?
I don't know.
You're starting to run a little long here.
Yeah.
Well, man, it was a pleasure getting to know you over here. And kind of getting your word and letting the AFFL audience see you for sure.
When's your next event? Let everybody know.
It's October 12th at Gum Branch again for the rescue at Spirit Ridge, and then the next one will be after that for we're going to do the Madison County Sheriff's Office. We're going to raise money for their Christmas with a Cop, since Shop with a Cop is copyrighted apparently. That's a new one. But my next tournament's actually with y'all to go up there and help y'all with nationals.
Absolutely, it'll be fun. Play.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely looking forward to having you out there. We're gonna need the help too since we're all fishing. For sure, it's gonna be busy, but it's gonna be a great time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely
Cool.
excited. Well, good deal, man. Well, I reckon we'll let you go.
All right. See y'all
This
later.
ain't the last time. We'll see you on here again shortly.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Phil.
Have a good
Yeah.
night, man. See ya. Man, what a stand up, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited about him, and I'm
Yeah.
really proud. I know he's bummed out a little bit about the 10 boats, but I think later he'll see for sure how that's a great start right now, especially this time of year with everything going on and the weather. 10 boats is fantastic.
Oh, for sure.
And like his wife was saying too, there's a high school, middle school tournament at the same boat ramp and everything. I mean, there's a lot of things that distract people from coming to these events, and all the things thrown at it, and he still had 10 show up off the rip. First event ever.
Yes.
That's a great number. That's a great number.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that's really all I got. You got anything you want to go over before we get out of here? I know all you guys, appreciate y'all staying loyal.
For the giveaways, Danny Melender, if you are in here, we need your shirt size and the color that you want. So just let us know. And then whoever gets this giveaway, please message the page or get in touch with your director if you fish with us, or just email, whatever. Just get in touch with us somehow and let us know your shirt size and where we're sending it to and everything.
Absolutely. For sure. And we'll get it shipped out. Let's see here. I gotta add it to the stage. Here we go. We'll go ahead and knock this out real quick. Or you know what? We only got 13 and we have 19 people in here. So we'll give y'all an opportunity to do that real quick while I go over. I feel like I did not go over the Louisiana event coming up very well. I think I kind of got distracted on it. The next upcoming event that AFFL has is Louisiana on the 21st. They have the one that got rescheduled from this weekend.
Yep.
Due to the hurricane. They're going to be out on Toledo Bend out of the Pendleton Bridge ramp. Please make sure y'all get over there. All the Louisiana guys, if we got any Texas guys in here that are in Eastern Texas, jump over there. It's an open tournament as well. Jump in, have a good time, and maybe we'll be able to convince, if you're new, maybe we'll convince you to fish with us next year in the qualifiers.
Yep.
For sure.
Is Dave's entry in the queue? Can you see?
I don't know. It's supposed to be. It should be collecting comments from both. I'm still only showing 16, so y'all hurry up and get in there. If you're not in there, hashtag #SITREP, just like it is on the screen, and we'll get drawn here in just a few seconds.
Yeah. And guys, follow the pages too. Whatever state that you want to fish with, follow the pages because that's where most of the updates are put out. So if ramps, if events rescheduled, or upcoming events, follow the pages, whatever the corresponding state that you want to fish with.
Right. And all my South Carolina guys listening in here, I will have our 2025 schedule out shortly. The BFL schedule just dropped, and that's kind of what I was waiting on. I've got everybody's schedules. I got the CBC, everybody around here, and then I will be pushing ours out once I just make sure I have no conflicts. If anybody's got any issue or any suggestions on lakes, I've already got a handful looking at Monticello and a couple of more. I've got it pretty ironed out, but send me some suggestions in case I got to ditch one. For sure. I want to make you guys happy.
And we should all be releasing our schedules here pretty soon too.
Right.
So if you're on the fence about joining us and you want to see where we're going, it'll be released soon.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and do our giveaway here. We're still only showing 13, but we'll see how that goes. See who we get here. Probably a replay, since that's what it likes to do. Oh. How? That would be one every month. All right, that's cheating. We got to redraw.
Yeah.
We had her husband on tonight. That
Yeah.
looks. It likes her. I don't know why. It picks her every time. Dan.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. I'm not gonna try to say your name, Dan.
He's one of my guys. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll. You got comms with him, Nick?
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Well, congratulations, Dan. Make sure you send Nick and I an email or just Nick, and he'll get it to me. Either way, however you want to do it, and we'll get that shipped out to you shortly. But don't forget, guys, I am sending them out at the end of the months. So I'll ship that one. I'll probably ship that one. The September one's not.
So the shirt will come directly from the clothing company. So it'll go. You'll get that stuff from the other stuff. So
right, for sure.
Direct to them.
Absolutely, for sure. But yeah, I don't really have anything else. Nick, do you have anything?
No, just thanks to all the sponsors that we have and your continued support for the league.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, man. Thank y'all for all tuning in, and I'm excited to meet some of y'all in Dayton, Tennessee here coming up soon. Oh, next week. We doing Yellow Tech.
Trying to
do Yellow Tech next week. Still waiting to.
He's a busy man.
Yeah, he's a busy man. Still waiting to iron that out. If not, we've got a couple backups. So tune in next week. We'll try to get that information out once we know who it's gonna be. But we'll see y'all next week. Remember, it's not just a tournament; it's a brotherhood. Peace.